firstly, obviously, it's been a tough time in Sydney these last couple of days, and I know the club's planning a few tributes after the game this weekend.
Yeah, look, I wanted to start by saying on behalf of the Sydney Swans how sad we are, and our feelings go out to the people that were killed and injured, and their families and friends last Saturday night. It's an absolute tragedy. It was interesting, I was talking to Trent Robinson about it last night. This is our club's areas. This is our community. This is our people that come and support our clubs, and to have it so close to home, and it was really sad, and a lot of people have been impacted. People from our club, our staff. It's just a terrible tragedy that's unfolded in our backyards, and our heartfelt condolences to everyone that's been impacted by this.
Did you have any players or staff that were in the area or had partners around or anything like that at the time?
Yeah, yes, we did. I mean, there wasn't. There was, family and people that were involved in. I mean, this is our local community, as you guys know. It's just 5 minutes away, and all of our kids go there. Our kids' families go there. Our friends, we go there. We travel there all the time, and just by a stroke of luck, there was our friends and our family weren't there, but a lot of people's were on the other side of the luck, and that's just what you just feel so bad about.
Did you all get together as a group and have a wider conversation about it?
We spoke together yesterday at training, and once again, it's Trent was saying that they and their players had a chat about it as well, and we're fortunate we've got a lot of good people at the footy club that support a lot of people, and talked about it. There was various connections to it, I guess, as you'd imagine across the community. We're like everybody else in the community, we have various connections, but also because it's so close to home and our friends and family and kids go there all the time, it hits home a little bit closer.
What role can sport kind of play this weekend to help bring the community back together?
Yeah, look, it's we can't play any role in the loss of life, clearly, and we'd never pretend that we could. All we've got to be there is just to acknowledge it. I think it's just a terrible tragedy. Acknowledge it, and hopefully the community can come together and get together, and whether it's the rugby league community in Trent, was talking about it last night, or us in the AFL community, get together and support the local people that were impacted so dramatically.
Gold Coast this week. Has Luke Parker come into the team for his first game of the season?
No, he's not ready to play yet, so it's taking a little bit extra time. So we don't want to risk it with his injury, so he won't be ready to play this week. We'll see how he pulls up next week. He's doing some training. He's training with us, but he's not able to play yet. Too big a risk. He hasn't had the clearance from the surgeon, so he won't be back this week.
How has the team kind of pulled up after the bye? Everyone pretty fresh?
Yeah, look, I guess we'll see. It's we the opportunity to be able to go over to South Australia last week and have a hit out, and then come back and have a few days off, but also get back into training. We trained on the weekend, and we've trained again this week, and just sharpen up on some things that we think we need to work on. And we looked at the Gold Coast last week, and their stats are through the roof. Their pressure stats, their turnovers, their ability to be able to score, everything around their game is really sound now. They've got they're in fantastic form, and they'll take some real beatings. So we really look forward to welcoming here at our home ground on Sunday, and having a great hit out against them.
The Suns have been able to pull a few surprise results here in the past. I mean, what's the key to getting on top of that momentum and getting on top of them before they can put that pressure on?
Well, I just think they're a talented team, and they're you look at their talent, but also their work rate. Their pressure on the weekend was 1.91, which is through the roof. They're a talented team, but they're also a team that works really hard, and it's hard and tough. So all those combined means that you need to be playing well, and you've got to be playing well. You know what's coming, but also you've got to be prepared to step into those contests and work hard on every facet of your game. And we know we'll have to do that, and we'll have to be at our best. And we look forward to testing ourselves out against a quality team.
You've coached against Damien Hardwick a lot over the years, and his sides normally have that sort of dimmer way of playing, that surge handball, big dumps inside 50, let the small forwards do what they do. Guys like Kane Lambert coming back, playing midfield, allowing Dusty and Try Bob and stuff to get forward. How much of a similarity do you see between how Gold Coast are playing compared to those great Richmond teams?
There's some similarities, but there's some changes as well. I mean, naturally with different personnel you have different changes and you have different styles according to the personnel you've got involved. But there's some differences as well. They've obviously made some changes to that. I don't know the rationale for it, other than the fact that they've got some similarities and some changes, and we've looked at that. But you know, we'll turn our attention obviously to what they do, but we've got to be mindful of what we do as well, and understand that we've got some strengths and we need to play to those.
I think they're number one in scores from turnovers, and I think they're number two in scores from their offensive 50 as well. So they're really good at playing that really high work. What's that going to mean for the Swans coming out of your defensive end? Is there a real focus on trying to get that right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you know, there's focus on all aspects of the game. You know, they've been strong defensively. Their forward half turnover game's been really strong. You know, there's all areas of the game we're going to have to be on. And but once again, we've done some, you know, we've had some good games this year as well, and it's about making sure we get the balance between what they do and what we do.
If you talk about sort of Tom Papley's emergence as a contested player, as a centre bounce player, and how that's probably going to be really important against a team that has contested ball like Matt Rowell and such a strong midfield, his evolution in the last couple of years playing that role seems to be something that you sort of really bring in on.
Yeah, look, his work around scramble and around stoppage is usually really strong because of his quick feet. He's a real competitor, he's hard and tough, and so those attributes normally account well for players around stoppage. He's not just a forward 50 player, but it's also Heaney and Rowbottom and Warner and that crew that'll be going through our midfield that need to be taking on their midfielder in such ripping form. You know, their midfield last week was absolutely on fire. So, you know, our midfield's going to be right on edge to be able to play well this week and look forward to a great battle in the middle of the ground.
And the week off, John, Errol committed long term. It never seemed like it was in serious doubt, but how relieved and pleased were you by it?
We were always confident, but you're never 100% confident because the contract hasn't been signed. So whilst you're confident, you just go about your business and do everything you can to make sure that you know, Errol's really looking forward to the environment that he's in for the next 4 years, and that's what he was able to do. We're absolutely thrilled. He's you know, such an important, integral player in our team now on the field and off the field. You know, he's been a local boy since he was a baby. So to have a local product, a local academy product picked up in the 30s, to be such an important player, but also, you know, commit for another 4 years, we're thrilled with, and he's just one of those young players that we're really confident in.
Errol mentioned that some of the players that had discussions around sacrifices in order to all stay together as a group. Are you involved in that at all? Do you have chats with players about that sort of stuff?
Depends. I have some chats about some things, but not usually in regards to money. I can stay out of that. So, you know, we talk to our players about, you know, they're confident enough in each other, they're confident enough in ourselves to be able to be competitive. But we know we've still got to get to work. You know, only because we think we've got some good young players doesn't mean that there's people hand out 4 points on a dinner plate. You've got to really work hard, and you've got to be hard and tough, and you've got to do it week in, week out in this competition to be able to be successful. So we think we've got some confidence in our group, but we also know we have to work, and you know, that's that combination we always talk about.
How's Cal tracking? We obviously know he's always around that mid-season. Are we only close to like a refined date for the new return?
Not yet. No, we're sort of still hopefully around that point. So yeah, we're not sure just yet, but you know, nothing's changed in that regard.
And obviously Brodie brings up game 200 this year. It's been a great start to life up here. What's impressed you most over the first sort of 6 weeks or so of the season?
He's such a competitor. That's the thing we were aware of when we recruited him, but you don't really see it until you see him close up at training and during games. But he's a massive competitor, and so we've got a really young midfield group, and to be able to have him come into that group, but also, you know, set the tone as far as his follow-up around the stoppage and scramble work has been excellent. So, you know, he's really personable. He's fit into our club really well, he and Rachel. And so, you know, he had his birthday, I think, a couple of days ago, and he comes into his 200th game. So, he's been a really valuable player.
Logan McDonald's 50th game. Where's he at for you after 50 games in his AFL career?
I think he's tracking really well. He's, as a young key forward, they take time, and he's played 50 games in that period of time in a team that's played a bit of finals footy. So we think he's tracking really well, and every game we see improvement. I watched the game again last week. Behind the goals, and you see certain little attributes that he's able to do. He's very smart. He's got great timing in what he does, and he's getting better all the time. So we think he's tracking well.
Just a couple more.
We obviously saw recently this morning Nathan Murphy from Collingwood announced his retirement through concussion. Obviously something close to the Swans after what happened with Paddy last year. Do you think that across the league it's just becoming more acutely aware of the long-term damages of head injuries and things like that?
Yeah, I only just saw it, so I don't know the details behind it. So I'm conscious that I don't know whether it was a recommendation medically or not. So I'd have to sort of refrain from commenting on that particular decision. I just think in general, I think the competition's more aware, and I think that's a good thing. And I think our medical staff in the competition are A grade. They look after their people as good as you'll see, and that's a great thing for the competition. And there's a lot of life to live.
How did Taylor Adams go for you? What were your thoughts on his performance in gather round?
I thought he was a good start for him. He played half forward in midfield, and he was really busy. I think he had 18 or 19 possessions. Most importantly, he pulled up well. We got him to 80 minutes, and then we took him off the ground just before the end of the game, and he pulled up really well. So that was important for us to be able to give him his first game and to get him through to the stage where he actually pulls up well the next week. So we look forward to him adding on that against Gold Coast. We'll need his experience out there, and we'll also need his intent and will to compete against a team that we know is hard and tough.
Do you think it will be a full match against Gold Coast, or do you think we'll just
well, he's available for that now. So the planning is it's none of them play the full time now. They all play ranging between 80 or 85 minutes and 105. So he'll be in that range.